so unfortunate, but it's like I understand that too, because sometimes it just get to a point like, I mean, it's like the saying, you can't put a gun to somebody's head and make them take the information.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So I
And
didn't want to go through this because look, literally, I got this mother. I done been on here with Moors coming in hostile, but they leave with a different mindset just by going over the information. What do we already know? We don't need no outside information. This is
right,
what we already know,
right.
right? They came, they gave us the Bible and everything associated with it. Before they came, we didn't associate with nothing that's biblical. Now
And
we
now we
want to
know
be
who they
everything.
are.
Yeah. And now we want to be everybody in the Bible. We want to be the Hebrews. We want to be the Moabites. We want to be the Canaanites.
The
Them
Hebrews
motherfuckers
is
ain't
the
got nothing to do
biggest
with us.
one. That's why I kind of started my journey from the Hebrews. And then I just kind of ventured over to esoteric knowledge, and then, ATRs. But yeah, the Hebrews is something.
Look, them niggas funny to me. They believe that they can tell you that they organic to this land, but they Hebrews. Hebrews being the ones that crossed over. That mean they crossed over from somewhere else to get here. That mean they don't belong.
They go off the
So pack y'all
narrative of the
motherfucking shit.
slave ship.
Yeah.
Like they came
Pack
over
your
here
yeah.
by,
Pack
so
your
it's like
shit.
that's why we here. But okay.
Pack your
But I
shit
don't
and go back to the Middle East since you a Hebrew. You ain't gotta stay here. Pack your
it's
shit.
been few that call themselves going back and was
They
like,
can
oh
stay.
no, this is not
Like
what we
I
thought
know
this
you talking
was.
about like Ben Ami Carter. Ben
Mm-hmm.
Ami took a whole community over there. None of us know about Operation Exodus ran by the Mossad in the early 80s, where they airlifted thousands of falashas from Ethiopia to legitimize the state of Israel because they know the real so-called Hebrews is falashas in Africa.
Right.
So they had a whole thing under the silence. The Mossad done it. The Mossad is Israeli Secret Service. Operation Exodus. Remember Marley was singing Exodus,
Mm-hmm.
movement of the people. This is what he talking about. They was moving the motherfuckers right after that song came out from 77 to 83. You got to remember, that Israel over there was mapped out by a guy named Ralph Bunch, bootlicking ass nigga. Went over there because they didn't know where they was from. They was going to originally set up Israel in Guyana. They was going to set it up in Brazil. Then they
I
picked
didn't
a
know
couple
that.
of different islands, and they was like, "Nah, ain't none of that gonna work because ain't nobody gonna believe that shit." So, and the Balfour Declaration was the agreement to set up the Zionist state of Israel that's over there now, masquerading as an original government over there in a foreign land.
Okay.
That shit don't got nothing to do with us. But we just want to take everybody else's burdens like they our own. That shit not our burden. That's not our cross to bear.
Yeah.
Our shit got to do with feathers, peace pipes, marijuana, peyote, and motherfucking dancing around the fire while the grid tell the stories by song. That's our shit.
Yeah.
Where the fuck they come from with this bop your head 5 times a day on the ground? You can't live your life like that.
The ladies on my mom's side, they are some storytellers.
Grits.
The women on my mom's side, they are some storytellers and tell a good story.
Yeah, those are grits. All right, sweetie, I'm going to take another caller. I want to see if I can get Paige Flowers in here if she's still watching.
All righty. Well, it was good talking to you.
You too, sweetie. Keep it up. Keep your head up.
I will. Thank you.
All right. How you doing?
Good, good.
I've been watching you kick ass.
Oh, listen. I'm over here eating my meal, listening to y'all. I'm like, yeah, this is the conversation our people need to hear. You know what I mean? It's
Look, it's imperative, and it's
yeah,
painful to hear it, but it's the truth.
yeah, it is. It is. You know, one of the sisters I used to talk to, used to be friends with. She went over there to Israel and saw how the Hebrews was living with that subsidized housing.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. Worse than over here. Worse than over here. Projects worse than over here. Horrible.
On All I Love, if you get that nigga bent at me in front of a camera, that nigga cheesing from ear to ear. Why them people living like that?
Mm. And she said they're not really vegan or raw. Some of them.
They niggas from the hood.
Mm-hmm.
They just claim they Israelites and moved over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She said it was so sad. I said, damn, sister. She said that the environment once you leave outside of the compound is very nice, right? Because of course that built it up. But on that particular land where they at, it's foul. Worse than how they do us over here. So y'all done packed up y'all shit and moved all the way over there just to get treated worse.
In the name of motherfucking Yahweh.
Yeah. Yep.
Bad.
It's bad. This is why it's so important. I sit here and I get on these calls with you and I listen to other brothers and sisters that tell us, look, we from over here. You know, I don't know if you know about the sister Linda Bay. I met with her in person. And she's really a cashier because she'll show you everything from beginning to end, how we was already over here. You know what I mean? She dig in the archive. She helped me get my family tree together all the way from the 1600s. I said, we ain't never left. North Carolina, you know, Texas, you know, we ain't never went nowhere.
The only place we went was Florida to fight the Gullah Wars.
Right. Like what you said.
Yeah. We came from all parts of the land to fight the Gullah Wars. The Great Migration, the Great Industrial Migration was us just going back home.
Yep. Wow.
Big Mama says it's a conjure war at this point, you know, and they never stop attacking us.
Right.
They
Never
stop burning and flooding cities out. Shit. Philadelphia moved. They bombed that motherfucker in the 80s.
Yeah. Bombed it. And I was also talking to Linda, and she told me too that all of them was a part of the Morris Science Temple. They just didn't want to put their children in them schools. A lot of people don't know that those brothers and sisters were woke. They were about pushing Noble Drew Ali's agenda. But the Rizzos bombed the people because they didn't want to send their children to school.
Now, they went in under the pretense of serving an eviction notice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And when they told them they wasn't going nowhere, instead of doing what you normally do with eviction notice, they sent in troops. Before the fire ever started, they was just shooting randomly in these people's homes.
Yeah.
With babies sleeping in rooms and shit. That's how they was able to get everybody in the basement before they dropped the bombs. They knew what the fuck they was doing. Wasn't nowhere for them to go because you got police shooting at them coming out the front, police shooting at them coming out the back. The only thing they can do is get to the lowest point to avoid the bullets. All of the police that got shot by friendly fire. And they charged the motherfuckers that was in the fire with the death of the police. They not responsible for them. There no bullets come out of the inside of that place.
Right. And it's crazy that our people don't know these things. And even if they was, you know what I'm saying, defending themselves, they still had every right to.
Yeah.
Sleeping on that. Why they shot her in the first place was because of the fact they wanted to buy that building.
Yeah, that was a hit.
That was a hit. They wanted to buy the building. She didn't want to leave. They came in through the side, shot them. And they figured, well, nobody would want to purchase a building where somebody died in, or no tenant would want to move in where somebody died in. So they brought federal charges against them, but see, ain't nobody talking about it no more. See how nobody ain't talking about it no more?
That's because they look like us.
Yeah.
Look, we the most forget about it motherfuckers it is.
Mm-hmm.
They killed one of us today. Oh, it was just them. Forget about it. Tomorrow we go on about our businesses like ain't that never happened. Shit. I ain't even got mad about the new shit. I'm still mad about them niggas getting Emmett Till for these crackers.
Yeah.
Or what I should say, under the pretense of crackers.
Yeah.
They even show it in the movie. People be saying, that's not true. Didn't know black men some niggas when he got Emmett Till.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to grow up to be Chief Littlehorn. Yeah. He was whistling fucking Dixie, the war cry. That's why they killed his ass. It had nothing to do with that lady. They used her for the patsy. She was the one that's going right now. Motherfuckers trying to get her ancient ass arrested. I don't give a fuck whether she get arrested or not. I want them niggas so I can find out who sent them niggas.
You know who I need to talk to? His name is, I don't know if you heard of him, but he claims to be the reincarnate of Emmett Till. And I met him at a psychedelic conference.
He wrote a book.
Yes, Tutim Ra. He looked just like him. And I met up with him again at Uncle Hank's place, Brother Hump, you know, scientist, wizard. And he's writing a book. Yeah. He writing a book on all the people that reincarnated as something else, you know? But they were the reincarnates of other people. And that was him.
When you study reincarnation, if you don't understand the Sybil effect, you won't know why it's 50 different people saying they're the reincarnation of a certain person.
Yeah.
Right? If the person's DNA is in your bloodline and you vibrate similar frequency, this is the Sybil effect. This is why you can have the Queen of Heaven and Earth in 50 different cultures at once using the Sybil effect.
Yeah.
They all connected telepathically, and they all got similar genetic markers that allow them to link on this frequency of the Sybil. The Sybils was the daughters of Isis, right? So they was go and, like, if we sent priestesses to go train, they have to get to the level of the master before they can come set up their own priests.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody, they was asking about the sister you was talking about and how to get in touch with her.
Linda Bay on Facebook, and she can help y'all trace y'all genealogy as well as find the land patents, because your family members had land patents. That's how they took your land away from you. And if you look at Rod's story, he also had that. I don't know. I think I saw it. It was today or yesterday. I don't know. I looked at your story, and he was talking about how they took $300-something billion in land away from us. But she'll also help you find the land patents. You can get your land back. You know, so that you actually know, okay, where was your family at this time? You know, so you also have the record, and you also have the intuitive record, where you feel called to go, and then what actually does the record say too, you know? So she's on Facebook. Linda Bay. Yeah.
So I pinned it up there for y'all to see how to spell her name, and y'all can look her up on Facebook. There's some more sisters. I would love to get in touch with Chief Warhorse.
Oh, Chief Warhorse, the truth. I listened to her.
She's my girl. Yeah. You remember when I posted her a while back, ain't nobody know who she was, and I was telling them about, fuck that shit. Let me post it so they can hear her talk.
Yeah.
Because she the one made me look deeper into the Trail of Tears, and it was so clear as day how they switched us out on the trail. Right?
Yeah.
Because they took us, we was the POWs from the Gullah Wars that they was using us as we was going to set up a reservation, but then they matriculated these Mongolians and these Huns and these Hindus in with the group, and then they auctioned us off as POWs.
Here in the public domain, because this shit is time stamped and dated, and anything I say is sufficient for public notice. Notice to Asian is notice to principle. Action, reaction. We move, they move. They move, we move. But this right here, coup de grace, checkmate. Right? This is the free throws that at the end of the game, ain't no more time left on the clock.
That's good.
Right? All right, now we dealing with Indigenous Rights Act. There's an article that tell us to use our oral tradition. Let's go to that.
All right. Right here.
Let me see. That's self-determination. We can start with that.
Okay.
Let's blow that up. Go to the top so you can see this is Section 1, Indigenous People, Scope of Application. Right? The Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People applies to the indigenous people of the Americas. Who do it apply to, Elder?
The indigenous
The ones
people
over here?
Yeah.
Right. Self-identification as indigenous people will be a fundamental criteria for determining to whom this declaration applies. States shall respect the right to such self-identification as indigenous, whether individually or collectively, in keeping with the practice of institutions of each indigenous group. So this is telling you, if we follow in our customs and traditions, that's self-identification that show you who we is.
That's right.
Right? What they call hip-hop culture is still our culture.
Go ahead.
We had Tupac Amaru in hip-hop. We had Rakim Allah in hip-hop. X-Clan. All of this is influences going all the way back to Kool Herc. Melly Mel, the legends. Right?
Yeah.
So our culture is not interrupted. It's still ongoing, but you have somebody that's still in everything we do.
Go ahead.
I'm here to stop them. This is not a game. This is not a joke. When Sipico put the Pope on public notice, go to the next page, Elder.
All right.
What you passed it? You're going the wrong way now.
Hold on. Which one?
Back one more.
Right there?
No, the one before that. That one.
Is it this way?
Right there. Blow that up. Yep. That's the one. In the culture, okay, this is Article 14, Systems of Knowledge, Language and Communication. Now, pay attention to number 1 because this is important. Indigenous peoples have the right to preserve, use, develop, revitalize. I mean, if it's something that we used to use, we can use it again, which is grandfather clause, and we're going to go over that in a minute. And transmit to future generations their own histories, languages, and oral traditions. Oral traditions is how we passed out information in the public domain. They pass it out in secret in libraries. We send elders out to teach it in the open.
Word of mouth.
Right? This is just part of my public service to the community. That's why I don't charge for nothing I do. It's helping getting the word throughout the community that we back for every motherfucking thing these people owe.
That's right. Let's go.
I gave them the instructions in the video. If you follow, hey, I want you to post this video, Elder, $1 trillion buyback.
Oh, yeah.
It's $1 trillion recovery.
Yeah. Send that link to me.
Okay, so now that's when I was telling them how to recover everything by buying, controlling interest in everything moving. We have access to Big Mama's vault now. Once we buy control and interest in everything, then we take over as a hostile takeover. We seize everything because we got the first position to right already. And now we dealing with the rights of the people collectively, the other tribes that they don't recognize in their law. Mm-hmm. That's why they named us Black, Negroes, and colored folks. I got them receipts too. They'll be posted on my Instagram and Facebook. All these receipts will be posted. Right? So if we supposed to go back to our oral traditions, I'm agreed. How do you know I'm agreed? Because I can recite history across varying different tribes and tell you what happened.
Go ahead.
How did we get here? Where did we come from? Who mixed with who where? That slave story is a goddamn lie.
That's right.
I can tell you this because I had to investigate it before I ever became an elder. I'm studying the problems that I found in state of emergency by Kwanzaa Kunjufu, who declared a state of emergency for us to deal with as elders when it comes our turn, young elder.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So why phase one so passionate about Baba? He supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like his little grand.
He supposed to be. That right. He supposed to be. So he got his ways. We a certain way about how we move. Right? We don't move the same because if everybody moved the same, we would cause a calamity and be all in everybody's way.
Right.
This, what I'm doing on the internet, is following the path of least resistance to reach the most amount of people to tell them that this shit is truly over. Let's find something else to talk about. Turn to another slide.
Okay.
Okay, this right here is SCOTUS ruled in the landmark case, United States versus Throckmorton. The fraud vitiates everything. We already showed them the fraud when they went behind our back and wrote that contract in the blood of Crispus Attucks to put us in the Conjure War.
Go ahead.
We didn't know that. That's a fraud. It was what you call in law an very vital piece of exculpatory evidence that we could have used to get out of it, because we could have forgave the blood if we knew what we was doing back then. That's why they kept it a secret. Only because I'm a witch doctor off this land over here, Mississippi Red Clay Dirt Walking, Hyoka High Chief. This is how I know that all of these frauds was taking place on the land, right? It's by categorically asserting that fraud vitiates everything. The SCOTUS affirms that perpetrating fraud undermines the entire endeavor, the whole contract, the complete judgment. The final results still have been nullified since fraud vitiates everything, right? All of these contracts is predicated up on a constructed fraud by trying to convince the people they government. They not our government. They a private enterprise operating in the capacity of government as a legal fiction to defraud the people out of what they call tax dollars. So in our oral tradition, by me putting this shit in the public domain, that make it time-stamped and dated. That's fucking evidence. It's archivable evidence. This is why I'm on the internet.
This shit might go over their head, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, they gonna have to come up to the level then. If they ain't on this level, they ain't understanding what I'm saying, right? Let's go to the next one. Ex post facto law. This is leading up to the grandfather clause. The ex post facto law is from the Latin for the action or after the fact, also called retroactive law. Is a law of retroactivity, challenges the legal consequences or status of actions that were committed or relationships that existed before the enactment of the law, right? Conversely, a form of ex post facto law, commonly called amnesty law, may be decriminalize certain acts or alleviate possible punishments. For example, by replacing the death sentence with life sentence retroactively. Such laws are also known by the Latin term in medias, right? So the law that came after the fact is everything that came after the agreement of the Continental Congress in a Iroquois Constitution. Predates the entirety of all what we call North American law, modern day jurisprudence, the bar associations. The bar associations is barristers. They don't got nothing to do with us. They got titles of nobility from England. They was christened in under King George.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Right? So they the ones was chartered to do business and to hold us in psychological slavery and servitude. This is what the John Dee conquest was about. John Dee was the ones who told Elizabeth I to write the blood of one of the chiefs in the contract called the Constitution that they lured our so-called 5 civilized tribes in without them knowing. That's fraud.
Yeah, go ahead.
Their whole shit is fraud. Go to the next one.
Somebody in the crowd in the chat say, "Roy, get these niggas, man. Get these niggas, man."
Okay, we can skip this one because that's dealing with what we just went over. But that's just another ex post facto description about making up a law after the fact. This is what happens when the ex post facto's law runs into a law that was there first. It's called a grandfather clause, right? Scroll up a little bit, Elder, so you can see a grandfather clause, also called a legacy clause, is an exemption that allows persons or entities to continue with activities or operations that were approved before the implementation of new rules, regulations, or laws. Such allowance can be permanent, temporary, or instituted with limits. They always had a time limit to how long they could stay here. They've already acknowledged on the Senate floor and by presidential actions that they acknowledge the conclusions to the contracts. Their time is up. It's over with. Right? Let's go to the next slide. So by the grandfather clause, this is how you get, okay, we gotta go to the first one of them. That looks like that might be the last one.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, non-treaty tribes. The relation between non-treaty Native Americans and the United States is complex and has been shaped by a number of Supreme Court rulings. So let me tell y'all where I got this from. I was having a conversation with AI and I asked AI about the non-treaty tribes, and this is the answer that AI gave. In the early days of the Republic, the Supreme Court held that Native Americans were domestic dependent nations. That means a protectorate, for those who don't know. A domestic dependent mean that they got to take care of you like a parent take care of a child or like a farmer take care of his animals.
Yeah, pet.
That was subject to the ultimate authority of the United States government. How? How, Sway? They don't got nothing to do with us. This doctrine was used to justify the government expropriation of Native American land and resources. In the late 19th century, the Supreme Court began to recognize that Native Americans had certain inherent rights, such as the right to self-government. However, these rights were often limited by government powers to regulate Native American affairs. See, we ain't talking about allowing the enemy to tell us what to do. We know how to do it ourselves. And I was up there chilling. I was prepared for a show with Young Elder. I
Okay.
knew I wasn't gonna be done tonight though. I still got some more receipts to pull up.
Okay. All right. What y'all was gonna talk about?
Uh, who is the real Asiatic black man?
Uh-huh.
So it was I had got a telepathic communication from the other side from Elijah Muhammad.
Ooh.
He said, explain who the Asiatic black man is, because in the nation doctrine, when they say, who are you? And then the answer is the Asiatic black man, the original man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. And it traces back to Hanuman and Sun Wukong and the different phenotypical traits that different genotypes produce. So it was some science in there.
When did the word Asiatic pop up on the scene? When did we start? You know how we talk about black and all these. When did we start using the word Asiatic, right?
All of those terms is in the 1900s. We wasn't using none of those terms before the 1900s. So in the sciences, the science used Latin terminologies to give names, right, to the different, everything is named with Latin terminologies. You know, like the Wolverine, Gullah Gullah.